Hey guys, Artosis here with another cast, and this one is different. This one is from the Moonlight Pro League. So this is basically a nighttime, like very late Korean time tournament that is basically crowdfunded from the community, and so that's kind of why it's called Moonlight Pro League. It's late at night, and so the pro gamers kind of get together and play pro league style matches against each other, and I was lucky enough to get some replays here to end up casting. So we have in the top left Scan, and in the bottom left we have Motive, and yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. The map is called Good Night. This is a very new map. It actually won a map contest made by Crystal Drag, I believe. And I haven't gotten to cast on this map at all, haven't gotten to play on this map at all, and haven't gotten to even watch games on this map yet. So, kind of exciting. Yeah, let's see how it goes. It's going to be a map that's in ASL, so definitely, definitely something to look out for. So let's learn about it a little bit. So Terran versus Protoss. It is a 4-player map, by the way, just to point that out. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up going here. And it looks like it's going to be a gasless expand for Scan. This is actually kind of a common thing that you're going to see in Terran versus Protoss. If Terran doesn't have like a real plan for a map, a lot of the times it turns into gasless expand. Or if a map is very long, if it's like longer rush distances than normal, you're going to want to do gasless expand, because you just otherwise you're going to be really far behind against a lot of builds like Nexus First. So, yeah, just gonna wait a little bit here. Looks like a cross scout coming out of Motive. That's kind of interesting. Notice the center does have the double gas. Very few mineral patches. This looks like a very old school expansion. Kind of brings... I actually have a smile on my face right now kind of looking at that, because that is like almost old Blizzard-esque, where the minerals are really far from the gas, and like one command center isn't gonna do it for this area. Kind of cute, though. As that center location. I think that actually center bases can be very interesting in certain matchups. You actually can end up taking them from Terran's point of view. You can take it in Terran versus Protoss and Terran versus Terran. There wouldn't really be any time where you could take that against a Zerg. Realistically, I guess there could be like a giant mech game where that could happen, but very unlikely. Whereas like in a game against carriers, that would be a good base, or a game against... Or just a TvT in general, right? Like if you're both maxed out, the center base can actually be the game changer. Anyways, Motive, he took a risk here with his scout. He scouted cross first, and then he went to the bottom right. And so that's what happens. You know, like if someone scouts you cross first, you got to ask yourself, what happens if you scout me last? And the answer is the scout is so late that they have no idea on Earth what you're doing for 100 years. So... yeah, he went cross spawn to bottom right, and now cross spawn again to top left. And he's going to get there, and there's literally already a bunker done, and SCVs being sent to the natural. So that is a very, very late scout. Like, look, the command center is going to be finished as he gets there, and he's just starting his Nexus. So I look at this situation, and it looks extremely good for Scan right now. He does have his SCV down here, so he can get some really great intel momentarily. First factory on the way. Just landing that barracks. Got a pretty good SimCity overall, I would say. And, I mean, range is coming, so we could have some pressure on that bunker, but that's about it for Motive. And the Robo coming up. SCV can dart in and see this kind of momentarily. Second factory going up. So this is actually going to be really nice for Scan. We'll see exactly when he wants to come in here and check. But because he's doing a 2-factory play, he's going to know exactly what to do with it because of this SCV scout. You know, there's so many different ways that you can end up playing 2-factory. Like how many siege tanks you can make. Are you actually going to attack or not? Are you going to just put on pressure and go back? And he comes in, sees the Robo over halfway done. There's no units near here. There's going to be a Dragoon relatively soon. He comes up. He's going to see the second gate. So that's a pretty non-committal second gate. You don't know if this is going to turn into Reaver or this is going to turn into Observer and third base. Definitely one or the other, but you're not entirely sure at this point as Scan. Either way, I think he can put some pressure on with his 2-factory build. It does make an additional Marine here. A lot of times when you see that additional Marine in a situation like this, that is because you're going to skip siege mode. So that if they try to chase your tank back, the goons take extra damage from the bunker. So he does have a siege tank on the way. Second gas is already up here for Scan as well. And with the shuttle coming from Motive, it definitely looks like it's going to be a blind Reaver. Oh, maybe not, actually. It looks like it might be Shuttle Observer Reaver, which is the most efficient way to use a Robo. Because obviously the Robo finishes and you have all this downtime before the Observatory, even though it builds very, very quickly. So just some pressure going down. We should be seeing the support bay, though, I would say. I'd be pretty surprised if we don't see him throw that down since he got the shuttle so quickly. I mean, there is the possibility you just try to do, like, Dragoon harassment, but honestly, it's not that good. Like, dropping some Dragoons in the main base against this build, it's not going to do anything. And look, we actually have Scan going up into 4 factories, so if he doesn't go Reaver, he's going to be in some serious trouble. Now, he is going to do the 2 Dragoon drop, but do we have Reaver tech behind it? We do not. We do not, but you know what? Maybe this is going to throw Scan off, because when you see the shuttle this early, you just kind of build turrets. You assume that there's going to be more. So the Dragoons come up. They see additional factories being made. Like, this isn't about the SCV kill count. I don't think you're expecting to get that many kills, but oh my god, he might pick off some tanks here. Motive with the weird moves and actually making it work out fantastically. He gets 2 tanks. He gets 2 tanks there. Might be able to get 1 more. Oh, he is going to get 1 more. He gets 3 tanks, guys. Just crazy. You should not get it this one, though. So 3 tanks for 4 goons while he's taking a 3rd Nexus. Now, this is still... Well, there's a Reaver on the way, but Scan has 4 facts. So I think as he hits, like, 4 siege tanks, he just needs to go. Like, if you're giving up 4 goons and you already made a shuttle that early and now there's still not a Reaver here, yeah, I think you have to put pressure on. He is making tanks 3 and 4. I think we should just see Vultures basically rally out from here. You definitely don't need to be making any more tanks on this attack. But Motive pulls back right now. With this little group of goons. 4 is the amount to pick off tanks. Oh my god, he's gonna get another tank. Oh my god, his Scan just slightly out of position there and paying for it. Losing a tank at this point is so painful. Hold on, he is going to get a couple goons here, which is pretty nice. Gets that 1 goon. This goon is so low that I expect it to die any second. He does end up killing it off. More tanks coming down. The Reaver is here, though. And the Reaver definitely going to add a lot of potential to this hold for Motive. Picks up that Reaver, getting those shots off. Oh my god, only 3 health left on this siege tank. You could right-click a probe on it at this point. Beautiful targeting on the mines as he drops this Reaver out to get those Scarab hits. Now, Scan is doing good pullbacks, but Motive has held. Motive has held this. Let's see if Scan can do anything with the Vultures. There's so few units and a lot of damage on some of them, like this Reaver, for instance, 8 health. He might... Oh, gets the goon in the wall. 1 Scarab hits. Another one does some damage. But he does end up killing that off, which is nice. Look at that. Does the little pylon block there to stop the Vultures from coming in. Okay, so that is the end of that push. We might still see Vultures run around for harassment, which makes sense, but the push is basically over. Motive can't die. Scan, taking a look. Let's see what he actually has going on. Okay, he's starting to make a missile turret ring. He has a big gas bank, right? Because he did get that 2nd gas to get the factories up, the upgrades, the siege tank count. But he hasn't purchased an armory as of yet. I think you're, like... I don't know. It's a tough position. It's a tough position to play here as Terran, right? Because your opponent's producing 3 probes at a time, really getting a 3-base economy going. And you don't have upgrades, which means if you go 3-base, you're just not going to have, like... any good timing pushes. Your upgrades are super, super slow this game. He throws down an armory now past 9 minutes. So yeah, it's a tough situation for Scan. It's not that it's completely undoable or anything, but... Oh, he actually kind of slips in. I didn't even notice that there was a little hole here. That's really interesting. Look at that terrain feature. And he will get a few probe kills. I think it is worthwhile to trade some of your Vultures for probes right now, just slow down the economy, but... Motive has... his own plans, right? He is making another Nexus, adding those gateways. He has his Citadel up. We haven't seen where he wants to go with the Citadel. Does he want to go Psystorm or does he want to go into Arbiter tech really quickly. I could really see either one going. Like, if he's just producing nonstop out of 6 gates, I think he's basically fine against the 4-fact, no upgrade tech here of Scan. Scan's armory just now finishing. He is getting a couple of comm stats. Yeah, and I'm not too surprised to see this, right? He's been producing nonstop. He's adding a factory and a starport here. Now, the starport, I believe what we're going to see is a quick dropship. Well, I mean, it's not quick at this point, right? But I think that Scan basically needs to make some magic happen in this situation. He needs to play a prolonged 2-base game. We don't see any third CC yet. Like, eventually, he probably will take this location. And he's filling in the units here really well. Oh, nice pick off there with the double Reaver. But yeah, it's like Scan needs to keep his production really, really high right now so he doesn't just kind of die to whatever Motive sends at him. All right, Scan sieging up. Goons kind of clearing the center of the map. Vultures still running around. Zoom out a little bit to see this whole layout, right? So he's got the 2 Reavers here on these ramps overseeing the possible third base location. This is buildable terrain all down here, it looks like. So yeah, he's going to be able to at least get some turrets up eventually. Obviously, the Reavers are doing a great job slowing that down. He's making a single Wraith. Oh, I find that kind of interesting. That's not what I was expecting there, but maybe that's going to be really useful. Yeah, it looks like he's getting ready for that third CC. Another factory on the way for that production. He does have a very healthy SCV count. Definitely doesn't need to make any more of those anytime soon. In the meantime, the production for Motive is really headed towards Arbiters. Arbiter tech coming up. I haven't seen Psystorm research, so looks like he's just going to hold on with gateway units till he has those Arbs out, which should work out well. 4th base is up. Cannon even finishing, which is nice. No dropship play from Scan, as I predicted, but yeah. I thought he might do that just to try to keep Motive a little bit busy. But I guess when you start looking at the spread of Motive here again, like, look, he's basically got this entire area blocked off. You can't go for any drops there. He's got an observer that's watching this ramp as well. So he has all vision out of the base by land. You could sneak out a dropship, but at this point... Oh, well, let's talk about that later, because we have a lot of Zealots running in here. But the SimCity of Scan is really, really, really strong. The Reaver's dropping down right now. Ooh, get a very good scarab onto these tanks, but if you don't kill him, it doesn't matter. It's another one off. More Vultures coming down. Looks like Scan will just barely hold here. Motive has got to run away with these goons. I don't think he can actually... Can he get the command center? Oh my god, he's going to get the command center! That third base, what? 12, come on. There you go. Okay, loses 2 more goons there at the end, but yeah, if he had not killed that, that would have been heartbreaking for Motive, because he spent a lot of units in there. I mean, he reduces the army size of Scan, which is nice. But yeah, like I was mentioning, you're kind of trapped in here as Scan. But even if you went dropship, the cannons have already been set up. I guess not the main base, but it's hard to get into some of these bases based on how Motive has been standing with his army. Now, taking a look at this gateway count, looks like we have 8 with a couple more on the way. Another pylon coming up. This is to add more gateways there as well, no doubt. Looks like he's getting ready to take another base in the bottom right. And as Arbiters are coming out, I mean, that is going to put some pressure on. Now, finally, we do have a dropship coming. But what is the dropship going to get done? Yeah, cannon coming up here now as well. Still nothing in the main, but to get anything into the main is tough. All right, picks up a siege tank. Looks like he wanted to pick up 2, but sent the dropship a little bit too quickly. Ah, yeah, sent up some Vultures over here as well with those mines in the way. So looks like he wants to drop a tank here, maybe deny this base for a little bit. But the Vultures came in a little bit too early, I think, to actually make that end up working. Like, he can still go with the drop, but... the Dragoons being dragged over here already to clear the mines. Basically, you want to drop the tanks, lay the mines, and run up with the Vultures kind of all at the same time if you're going to be able to kill that base off. Looks like he's going to try the move again, but there are units closer to position. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get that to work out. Here comes that dropship now. The Vultures trying to run past these goons. Nice micro there for a moment from Motive. Probes turning around. Ooh, the drop on the high ground is just perfect. The goons cannot push up against this. No way, no how. More probes were coming through. But looks like, you know what? He might get the denial here. Let's see. It looks like the Dragoons are going to try to push. You can at least be pretty efficient here as Scan, I think. Oh, no. He's just going to run out with those siege tanks. Doesn't want to trade these for a few kills. Vultures, of course, going to end up dying. A couple cannons went down. Not a huge deal in either direction. All right, now with Scan, we have the triple add-on production. So lots of siege tanks going to be coming out. He is taking his 4th base over here on location. It's got a decent setup. I like this little pocket third. I like the shape of this. We've never really seen a 3rd base that looks quite like this on a professional map. Really, really interesting because it's like on low ground, but the chokes coming in are small enough that it's definitely defendable. And it's actually one of those positions where the comstat might actually help you defensively. It's another building in the way for those Zealots. All right, Scan laying some mines out in the center. Let's take a look at the tech here of Motive. He does have double forge running, which is nice. Let's check the upgrades. Just +1, but 2-1 on the way. Recall coming up for his Arbiters. Psystorm being produced. Another Stargate being added as well, which I think is really, really good. You should definitely be on double Stargate Arbiter production at this point when you have an economy that looks like this. 67 probes against 58 SCVs. So that's looking strong as well. Just still trying to clear mines. The spread of Scan looking pretty cool, and I like that there's some buildable terrain down here. I imagine that these zigzags are unbuildable, but I'm not 100% on that. And haven't played this map. It's a brand new one. But that's kind of cool. I like it's nice, right? Because these bases are a little bit far apart, but Terran being able to put down a couple turrets really does help to cement that position and secure those bases. In the meantime, a lot of gates going in the bottom right. Another expansion at the natural. Cannons going up to stop that harassment. Uh-oh. Here comes the Arbiter. Let's see if Scan is quick enough here. Okay, gets the EMP. Is the recall gonna go off? Say no, it got EMP'd. Hey, come on now. He still had time. All right, so the first Arbiter that goes in for that recall actually kind of gets wasted. He's getting Arbiter energy, is producing more Arbiters. That's not the end of the world for Motive. Scan is still not maxed out. It still doesn't feel like he can quite attack yet. I think you definitely do want to max out completely as Scan, kind of get an eye on where the army is, maybe rotate some vultures, and then start your push. Starting to come out here. This is, he's laying mines and trying to push back any observers. There's an observer right here as Motive runs around. Now here comes Motive. He's bringing a huge amount of army. Scan has a ton of units over there, so he might need to bring them over if he's going to hold this position. Actually, he's got a lot of tanks with 2-1 here. Looks like we do get one stasis down. A good Psystorm in the back. More units coming. And Motive has to turn around. Like, as you lose your Zealots, you definitely do have to turn around. Good defensive position there from Scan. Motive maybe being a little bit too aggressive, but you know what? He's still got a lot of supply. Backs up. Doesn't lose most of his Dragoons, which is the important part. Those are kind of the units that you have to make sure you're withdrawing at the right time. Huge siege tank count for Scanna at the moment. Look at this. He's got like 20 siege tanks, even after losing quite a few. That 3 factory add-on production really helping him out. Ooh! The Zealot bombs, though. Killing off 2 tanks there and 1 more here. Very nicely done. A little bit of a vulture run by, and it kind of hilariously runs into mass Dragoons popping out of the gateways, so that doesn't go too well. Gets like a single mine off. At least he sees what's going on, but yeah, it doesn't really gain from that. Now, Motive is taking the top right. This is a little bit of a sneaky base. It's still hard for Scan to clear. But if Motive can secure this, get his cannons up, get some gateways up, you know, maybe have a couple High Templars on the high ground here, a DT to mess with things, that's going to become a real thorn in Scan's side. You can't let a Protoss get all the other main bases. One other main base, okay, playable game. They get both the other mains, it's just kind of like too much room for gateways, too much economy, too many different locations to attack. Now, here comes Motive once again attacking into this 3rd base location. Ton of Zealots go to the front here. Out comes the EMP. He doesn't get any spells off with those Arbiters whatsoever. They just kind of sit here and cloak units. So yeah, of course, that doesn't go that well for Motive. All right, good hold once again from Scan. A lot of probes being sent to the top right. They go over some mines. I think Scan may have seen that. So definitely wants to keep tabs on that top right base. Motive right now producing 20 Zealots at a time. Look at that, 40 supply instantaneously in Zealots. Yeah, he's kept a lot of those Dragoons alive. Good upgrades, by the way. He's almost got +3 attack, and he has +2 armor, so that's fantastic. Over on Scan side, he's on 3-1 with the +2 armor almost done. So both sides really nailing their upgrades, but Scan needs to take another base. He is throwing down some additional turrets, and here it is, that 5th base location. Looks like it's going to be that mineral-only 3rd base from the top right. And this is giving him a good spread. Honestly, the more I look at this map, the more interesting it is, because some of these areas are pretty small, so Terran can kind of come over and get more bases, and it's a little bit hard for Protoss to actually rotate across the map again. Scan pushing pretty far down. A lot of probes starting to come up through this area. So this is, I mean, if he didn't know before, he knows now that that top right has been taken. Every single probe getting absolutely splattered. Down to 60 workers. Still a doable economy, especially with a bank like that for Motive. Scan almost maxed out, but no bank of himself to speak of. But taking this base going to help out quite a bit. This base actually still has a lot of mineral patches as well, so... still his economy looking pretty strong. Now, Motive looks like he wants to hit this 3rd base once again. Mines have been relayed. Lots of turrets in here as well. And here comes that Arbiter forward. Gets an okay stasis there on a couple of siege tanks. Zealot's getting very, very clumped up. And it seems like Scan will clear this pretty quickly, pretty well. The command center is going to end up falling. Ooh, that defense matrix. Awesome, awesome play. But double storm here on those tanks. Blows up quite a few of them. Wow, what a moment there. Motive getting very, very efficient for a little bit, clearing those tanks and also getting the command center. So very nice. A couple siege tanks coming up. And look at that, DT's being made to clear these very quickly. As vultures come up, though, I think Scan's going to clear this base really well. Like, I mean, yeah, he's going to be able to kill that base easily, which is a much better kill than what Motive got here. Like, this base is important for Scan. But since he has this one up, like, if you have 2 mining bases as Terran and +3, +2 upgrades, that's pretty good. You can kind of hold on at that point. Not necessarily, like, attacking your opponent and remax forever, but you can kind of defend. So, I think this is not a bad spot for Scan at the moment. Like, the opening was a little bit rough, but I feel like he's actually come back really, really strongly. All right, chasing down this Arbiter. Arbiter does get pulled back. Lots of storms available if he wants to cast some. Just kind of running away into some mines. Yeah, I feel like we're seeing some small scuffles where Motive could do a bit better. Oh, never mind. The DT's popped out and actually killed everything that was up here. He can still send more vultures, though. I think he is still going to get the base, but that was a good save there by Motive. Very common thing to see as well. Arbiter flying up. Now, this has recall energy. So we can see, like, units recalled here to try to save the base. We can see a stasis on the ramp to slow this down. Yeah, okay, so he does the recall to save the base, kind of behind the mines, behind enemy lines. And you might look at that and think, oh, well, these units are trapped now. But honestly, just keeping this base going for a bit is going to be really, really strong. Well, then he kind of attacks down into the mines and loses a big chunk. But this will be hard to break, at least. A single vulture here to spot that Nexus going up. This army of Scan looking very, very strong. Motive right now. He does have a stasis. Okay, he throws it down, kind of half blocking the ramp. So units still can make their way up. If he had waited just a little bit more, he could have stopped these units from rotating. A lot of cannons are up, but Siege Tank's not going to care about that. Let's take a look if anything else is happening. Looks like just macroing up from Motive. All over the place. Oh, we did get a recall here up at 12 o'clock. A lot of units dying here for Motive as well, though. Seems like this base is going to be gone pretty soon. This recall being cleaned up pretty well also. Yeah, okay. So I think, honestly, like, looking at all this, as long as Scan takes his time and doesn't get too sloppy here, I think that this is actually pretty good for him right now. Like, he's got this mining base. He's retaking this one. Yeah, he's killing top right. He's kind of holding on to this space. Like, there's still potential here for Motive. Of course, the game definitely not over as of yet. But Motive has been just a little bit sloppy this game. Not really having those big finishing moves. Having some decent attacks. But overall, Scan continues to grow. Continues to siege up. Take new locations. Now, this is a high-energy Arbiter coming in. The recall is cast, and he gets him on top of tanks. Look at this. Oh, my God. If Scan does not scan this, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. Another Arbiter up at the top here. And he does a stasis as he moves up the ramp. A ton of siege tanks being taken out. The Nexus is somehow still alive. I can't believe that Motive has kept this base alive once again. Still has enough energy here for another stasis. We have EMP energy almost just now getting there from Scan. An EMP onto this Arbiter would be fantastic. Let's see if he can get it. I guess we're doing something else right now, but the siege tank's coming up. And, I mean, I've said that this base was going to die like 8 times and Motive keeps saving it, so I don't want to say it again. But, I mean, look at how many units are up here. Motive going to do another counterattack. Scan. Not much defense here. Just going to run his SCVs. Float the command center so it doesn't die. This is his rally point, so he should be able to hold on. Yeah, 3 tanks, that many vultures, just lay some mines. He should be all right there, but, oh, he might end up losing this. In the meantime, yes, finally this Nexus in the top right will be killed off. Still have an Arbiter sitting here. The science vessel watching it closely. Down goes that command center. I mean, you can float another one down there. You don't... It sucks to lose a scanner, but I think it's worthwhile as opposed to waiting to rebuild at this point. Motive taking another base. It's actually been a long time since he made another Nexus. Like, most of the game has been focused on him holding on to this base. But now, taking this mineral only. Not huge probe saturation. Yeah, mind out on those two. Sending more probes across the map. 54 against 60 workers, so pretty close in that regard. Oh, I like that he finally sends a Wraith out and actually kills that Arbiter. The Arbiter's just been sitting in the dead airspace, waiting to see if it can get enough energy to do a recall. Now, Scan pulling back up that ramp. This is not an army that can really attack into the amount of siege tanks that we see, especially 3-3 upgrades. I love the vessel sitting over on the side to stop any Arbiters coming in. Another vessel over here as well. Wraith coming over, Barracks spotting, Vulture spotting. These middle bases seem pretty difficult to take. Like, they're on massive high ground, though, so you definitely can defend them reasonably well. Throwing down a couple cannons, throwing down the Nexus now also. Motive moving through the center. I tell you, 28 minutes into the game right now, and no foreseeable ending, honestly. Like, Scan's ahead. It feels like a game he should take, but it's going to actually be pretty hard to push in still. There's a lot of Arbiters still being produced, a lot of Psystorm in here as well. And, I mean, map control does still go to Motive. He's got a good spread of observers. He's kind of watching where everything's at. So Scan has to be very careful about his pushing. You know, you might get into a situation like this and say, oh, well, now I've got this base, and this base, and this base, and a max. I have 3-3, and I have just, well, it's not that many factories, but, you know, decent production. And you might feel like you can attack, but you got to be careful about that, right? Because if Scan comes down and attacks too clumped up, the Psystorms, the Stasises, are going to give him a terrible time. More High Templars joining in. It's kind of a funny thing as we get later, too, right? Like, you start to balance your gas and mineral a little bit more in the late game. Like, kind of mid-game-ish, you're not balancing as much. Early game, you balance it a lot. And then late game, you're like, okay, let me see here. I have a lot of gas. Let's get a lot of Psystorm. And that's what we're seeing. See this clumped up attack. He's starting to shred him some. Those are very efficient High Templars. A ton of damage being put out there. Still has quite a few up here as well. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is the greatest EMP of all time. That was 5 full energy High Templars. I mean, that's dude, that is 10 Psystorms that you just saved yourself from. 10 Psystorms! Say that out loud and tell me it doesn't sound ridiculous. So now Scan can attack up here since there's not that much Psystorm left. Yeah, he pulls back one of them. Did make some Archons there, because why not? But those get slaughtered very quickly. Oh, God. Oh, I guess he actually got him with the EMP. So doesn't get the recall off into the main base. use a hallucination here. Now, there's no way to tell which Arbiter is not hallucinated as scan in this situation, even if you scan it. If you hit them with a spell, then they die, and also they take double damage. So I guess that's another way you can theoretically see it. But look at this. The blue Arbiters, the hallucinations, tanking a ton of damage here for this Arbiter to get through. Oh my god, and he's gonna get it. A big recall into the main base. There are a few mines here, so that could make it go a little bit wrong. Okay, there's the recall, actually just outside of mine range. Oh, that was a good EMP there as well. One of the High Templars still has a storm. It's not that many units, so it can be cleaned up. Yeah, the EMP definitely helping out there quite a bit. The mine's helping as well. See what he gets with this storm. And not all that much, but you know what? I think this was still an okay move. It kind of buys him some more time as well, right? The army has to pull back. Notice he hasn't lost this base yet, which is really, really an important one. Oh, I keep looking over here like it's a Nexus, but actually it's just a big group of units. I think this might have been the set he wanted to recall in with. Not entirely sure about that, but it almost feels like he's forgotten about these units at this point. Definitely something like he just hasn't moved them in so long. Maybe this is the moment. Another hallucinated recall coming in right now. Oh my god. Let's see if he can do it. Oh, the EMP comes out, and that Arbiter not going to find its mark. Not at all. This army being remembered once again, coming down. Dragoon's going to have to clear these mines, of course. Scan, though, has taken basically half the map, right? It's not exactly half because these two bases, one of them would constitute half, and then obviously you have the center. So the map can't ever be perfectly split, but that center base impossible to take. Like, Protoss could literally never take that. Terran, maybe. Siege up on high ground, but like, look, I mean, you don't even have to move that far and you could kill it off. So we'll see if that ever actually gets taken. I mean, the game's getting so long and big at this point. Maybe that'll be the case. Another nice EMP goes off, stops those High Templars. So he's going to be able to clear this piece army, but hold on. The huge army that Motive has worked up over on this side starts to run through. By the way, he is maxed out with a giant bank once again. That's how long this game has been going. And this attack is going to be hard to stop. There are some High Templars coming up. There are some Psy Storms. Misses there. Doesn't get one off. That's a good storm. That's a good one, as well as the Zealots run into the tanks. Tanks alone cannot fight against this. And some Vultures up to the top as they come down. Vultures starting to tank a little bit for those siege tanks. Some Zealots getting into that top right main. The Natural in the top right having to float away. Still a decent SCV count, so I'm not entirely worried about the economy yet. But this move from Motive, definitely a very, very strong one. And look at those banks right now. Scan getting very low. His units still being pretty efficient overall in this cleanup. But we have good mining still going on in some of these locations for Motive. So that's how you can see he's kind of made that bank. He's remaxed. He's going to be able to max again here as well. And he's slowing a lot of the mining of Scan. A lot of tanks being sent to that top right. Clears it all out. Vultures into the mid once again. I tell you, I mean, for my first game I've seen and cast and watched here on Good Night, I'm liking the map so far. This is like a really cool, interesting game. There's been a lot of movement through the center on the sides. A lot of interesting dead air space as well. It's like, once again, a recall up here. Oh my god. I thought Scan... Like, in the beginning, I thought Motive was going to win. In the mid to early late game, I thought Scan was going to win. But now that Motive is, like, really starting to deny the space, he's, like, recalling in more spellcasters and everything as well. And look at the bank. I'm starting to think again that Motive might be able to take this one. He's kind of clearing the center over and over. There are a lot of mines being laid, but Motive's kind of being patient about it, right? He's running around with the Goon Observer and clearing anything that comes out. But oh my god, look at the siege tank count still. How many siege tanks do we actually have? There's 12. 3 more. All right, we still have 24, 26, 27 siege tanks. 28, 29, I don't know. It's like around almost 30 siege tanks in the game right now. So that is a massive amount. Oh, the High Templar gets picked off before it casts a spell. That's definitely one thing we've seen about Motive. He's not quick on those Psy Storms, unfortunately. Nice siege up there. Pushes him back. Ooh, tries to come up with this Side Storm, but the scan allows him to pick it off. Side Storm going down as they retreat. Big group of vultures over to the left side of the map. And look, still has an army up here, but there are so many siege tanks. He can't do anything. I don't think he can attack down here. This does not look like a very good move. A scan goes down, and he just starts to clear it very, very quickly indeed. Motive has to turn around. A little bit optimistic with that one. I almost feel like this was an army you should have recalled out. Or just leave it there to fight at full potential. Now, scan comes down. He's clearing out this mineral base. This is a very important location for Motive. It's only about halfway mined out, or about 40% mined out, I guess. And it's like the gateway to this base. So as this one gets cleared, scan can back up and very easily kill off this base because no reinforcements can hit. But Motive still has a pretty big army and a pretty big bank. It's coming out into the middle once again. Scan being very careful. I thought for sure he was going to siege this up, but with the High Templars, with these units running around as well, it looks like he's decided it's a better idea to back up with this army, take the single kill he got, and come back to a more defensive position. He is maxed out, and it's a big army too. Only 41 SCVs, so that's 150-something army supply. Another recall into this main base in the top right, killing off a bunch of those siege tanks, and this floating command center not going to be able to make its way up, that's for sure. Tries to get the MP off, does not reach it here. Another stasis planted down as he clears these tanks on the high ground. A Side Storm that everything is walking through as well, but he will lose that Arbiter. And backing up with what he has left over. Still, again, a big bank here for our Protoss player. But how many mineral patches does he have left? This is not much at all. This is nothing. This base is dead. This base is mining. Still no Nexus here, but he did send probes. Okay, we'll see if we ever get a Nexus here. And obviously the center, definitely not a base that you're likely to see taken as Protoss, except in the craziest game possible. Looks like scan as well. Mineral base is gone. His main and natural been gone forever. This 12 o'clock fourth base is gone. This one's basically gone. He can't mine from top right for a long time. Hey, I mean, this is getting pretty wild. Now, Motive running through a lot of mines here. A very Zealot-heavy composition. Yeah, this gets cleaned up very one-sidedly. I feel like that was a little bit of a throwaway from Motive, right? Like, just running Zealots through mines right now. You have to be more efficient than that. His bank going very, very low. Both sides not mining all that much. Scan is finally sending SCVs back to the top right, though. Very Zealot-heavy composition. We have a few cannons here, but no Nexus. This looks and feels... Ooh, those mine hits. Brutal. This looks and feels, again, like a scan victory. I almost don't want to guess anymore because it's been so crazy and back and forth. But the positioning scan has, plus he's mining here and here. I mean, unless another recall gets into the top right, it's really hard to imagine how Motive is able to push through this army without a big bank. And Motive clears a couple tanks there. He does have a lot of probes ready to mine from this location. All right, here comes Motive. This is his big moment. Can he do it? Running in right now with the Zealots from both sides, but enough vultures on this side to clear it pretty well. I mean, an okay stasis comes down, but that won't be enough. Still too many siege tanks out here. Zealot gets on top of some of these. I mean, he cleared actually a pretty surprising amount considering what that looked like at the beginning. But it's not enough. And he's making like a Zealot and a Nexus. So he, again, he's still mining. It's not that many probes, honestly. But we'll see. Maybe he can hold on. Maybe he can like push. Or I guess in this case, it's not about pushing scan. It's about pulling scan. What you want is to attack him somewhere else heavy enough that he like walks away from attacking an army or a position like this. Because you need this base to stay alive. Simple as that. Ooh, trying to Side Storm the tanks right on the edge there. Only gets one to actually connect, so this is looking like it's going to fall really quickly. Even got the EMP down, so it's just not going to last as soon as he gets any siege tanks actually upon it. Very cleanly clearing those High Templars, spreading everything out as best he can. This is really the end of the game. Motive has, like, this opportunity, and that's it. Is this one, like, this one army needs to do so much for him. He's very, very low on economy. His probes, for the most part, being picked off. Yeah, this has to be game. This has to be game. It's like a 50 supply lead in army for Scan. All right, looks like he really pushes back this CC, which looks like Scan was going to take the center. This is it for Motive. This is the end times. It's got nothing down here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. This base has been killed. This base has been killed. Scan. He's got mineral patches here, and very healthy mineral patches in a main base in the top right. Well, I mean, Scan just... I'm trying to think of some way for him to lose the game, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Again, guys, if you're wondering what this is from the Moonlight Pro League. It's a crowd-funded little league that pro gamers do very late in the Korean night. So, big props for the replays that I got for some of these games. As we wait for Motive to realize that his heart stopped beating a few minutes ago. Yeah, Scan definitely taking his time, not going to be throwing this game away at all. Okay, we're going for the recall. That's it. Maybe lead stasis this. Yep, gets the stasis off, and he's trying for a recall now. This has to be the final move of the game. I can't even imagine. It doesn't have an EMP there. Here it is. I mean, good size storms, that's for sure. it's pretty darn efficient size storms there, but obviously this is the absolute end of Motive's units. He denies the mining up here. It's just so many units for Scan. And actually, at this point, there's more mining for Motive, basically, than Scan. But it's just the army size difference can't be made up, even with the spells. Like, maybe if you had full energy on everything, then that is something that could end up working out. But, hey, you can kind of see how close Motive even made it here in the end when I was calling him dead for quite some time. Like, he denies the mining there, which is really nice. But Scan with this drop, that is going to be it as Motive loses his last units, his last probes. Nice. What a game here. GG.